Hello friends, let us now learn some important points about oogenesis. Where does oogenesis begin? Oogenesis will begin in intrauterine life. It begins in intrauterine life. In oogenesis there is oogonia. Oogonia occurs in 46XX. This oogonia undergoes mitosis and results in the formation of primary oocyte. Okay, this primary oocyte undergoes meiosis 1 and this is arrested in diplotin stage of prophase 1 and this is arrested in diplotin stage of prophase 1 and this arrest remains till puberty. It is arrested in diplotin stage of prophase 1 till puberty. This stage is called as dictyate stage. Okay, now the primary oocytes will get surrounded by the follicular cells. Here primary oocyte is surrounded by follicular cells. Okay, and now it will change into two things. One, the cortex differentiates into cortex and medulla. Cortex will have granule cells whereas medulla will have theca cells, and this both will combine together to form primordial follicle. Now if these follicles, when the number of follicles which will be formed becomes 0, then it is called as ovarian failure or menopause. Okay, now what happens? Now when the baby reaches the puberty, hypothalamus will start activated, and this hypothalamus will produce GnRH, which is released in pulsatile flow. This GnRH will activate anterior pituitary. Once it activates anterior pituitary, it results in the release of luteinizing hormone. This will cause LH surge. Okay, when LH surge occurs, this meiosis 1 is resumed. Okay, once meiosis 1 is resumed, so this will result in formation of primary oocyte, which is 46XX. Now this primary oocyte will get converted to secondary oocyte and one polar body. First polar body is released. First polar body has 23X, and this is also has first polar body, and secondary oocyte will have 23X chromosomes. Now this undergoes meiosis 2. This meiosis 2 now gets arrested in metaphase. Okay, now at fertilization, after fertilization actually, this secondary oocyte divides into female pronucleus or female gamete or egg, and it gives rise to second polar body. Okay, now what happens in ovulation? So next we will see ovulation. Ovulation occurs following LH surge. Following LH surge, primary oocyte gets converted to secondary oocyte, and this secondary oocyte is released. Okay, this is ovulation. Okay, time, there are some important things. Time between LH surge and ovulation. Time between LH surge and ovulation is 32 to 36 hours, more than 4 to 36 hours. When is first polar body released? First polar body is released at ovulation. Okay, whereas second polar body is released at fertilization. Then if you see some important points about oogenesis. Okay, ova is the largest cell. What is the length, size of the ova? It is 120 microns. Then if you see size of resting follicle, what is the size of resting follicle? It is around 0.02 millimeters. Then what is the size of follicle just before ovulation? Size of follicle just before ovulation is 18 to 20 millimeters. Then what is the fertilizable span of ovum? Fertilizable span of ovum is around 12 to 24 hours. Okay, then if you see the time events, germ cells will reach the yolk sac at 3 weeks. Germ cells reach gonads at 6 weeks. Okay, germ cells reach, next oogonia. Oogonia are formed at 9 weeks. Then primary oocyte is formed at 12 to 16 weeks. Then follicle formation, if you see, follicle is formed at 15 to 20 weeks. Actually, follicle formation begins at 15 to 20 weeks and follicle formation is complete by 22 to 24 weeks. Okay, next about the number of follicles. If you see number of follicles, these are maximum at 20 weeks of intrauterine life, that is around 6 to 7 million follicles are seen. And if you see follicles at birth, they are 1 to 2 million follicles are present at birth, and follicles if you see at puberty, they are around 4 to 5 lakh follicles are around puberty. Among these 4 to 5 lakhs, only 500 follicles will mature at any time. At entire lifetime, if you see, only 500 follicles will mature in entire lifetime. And almost 1000 follicles undergo echinacea every month. Then if you see initial recruitment of follicles, is mainly, it is hormone independent. Initial recruitment of follicles is hormone independent. So thank you for watching.